What's up, everybody? You want to be a better artist. I want to be a better artist. We all want to be better artists. So we're going to go over today 6 proven ways to become a better artist. Now, the truth is that there are no shortcuts, okay? Some people have more of that natural talent, but if you want to improve, no matter where your starting point is, you need to put in the work. That's just the hard, honest truth. So, I didn't name this video 6 instant ways to become a better artist. These are 6 proven ways, okay? These are things that you're going to do that will improve your artist ability. And some of them might be like, well, no, duh, but you know, we've got people of all skill levels. We got people coming to our channel that have just gotten their first set of paint, maybe their first interest in drawing. And I'd like to think that no matter where you are on your journey, there'll be at least one of these points that is helpful to you specifically. We're going to go over ways that you can be working smarter, not necessarily harder, okay? And that's very important too, because doing things again and again and again that are not necessarily the most efficient will burn you out. So I want to make sure that we work smarter, not harder, and that you're putting in the proper work to get the maximum result for what you're doing. So without further ado, let's get to the proven way number 1. So the first thing that you can be doing to improve your art is warming up. I don't care how long you've been doing art for. I don't care how frequently you do art. It doesn't matter. Every single time you need to warm up. It's literally the same thing as doing a warm-up stretch before exercising. You've got to get yourself in the physical and mental mindset to do art. This is very important, okay? And I think it's often overlooked, and sometimes it might not be convenient, sometimes you might not want to spend the time, but this does make a difference at all skill levels, at all frequencies. Because when I first thought this, I'm like, well, you know, if you do art every single day, do you still need to warm up? But yeah, I mean, I work out almost every single day. I might not know it because of how I eat, but the point is that I still have to warm up my body and my mind to get prepared to do the work. So one of the things that you can do is newsprint, okay? Newsprint is very inexpensive, and I like to get something large, okay? Because what we're really doing when we do these warm-ups is we're not doing these little things, okay? We're trying to get our entire body into it, okay? We're using our whole arm from our shoulder to our wrist to warm up the body and kind of center the mind. So you do different things, okay? One of the first things I remember learning when I was in art class, things to jump into to warm up are ellipses, okay? Because ellipses are tricky, right? You know, you don't want any sharp edges. So we would sit there and we would use our whole arm, and you can even kind of give yourself a little bit of, you know, practice, and then there's no right or wrong. It's okay if they don't look perfect. You're just warming up that whole arm, and you can do larger sizes, you can do smaller sizes, and this is just getting your brain in the right place to create. You're getting that muscle memory down, you're reactivating that creative center, and getting yourself ready to do your art. Now, there are some exercises that you can do. Some things are, you know, along with these sort of like ellipse sort of things, is you can, like, for example, you can make a starting point and an ending point, and you can start small, and then you're going to go large, and then you're going to go small again, trying to kind of keep that within an area. Or you don't even need that area. You can just go all out. You can just see how big. Again, we're trying to move that whole arm, get your body into it, and small again. It's about kind of establishing that muscle memory and that control, okay? Another thing that you can do, literally you could do like, I forget what the term is, but just practice on this kind of like dental design, working on your lines, your spacing, again, that muscle memory, all right? Now, maybe you're thinking, well, you know, of course you want me to do this before I, you know, draw or paint or do art every time. I'm going to go through paper like nothing. Look, I don't care. You can use those broken Amazon boxes that I know they're in your garage. You know, just whatever you have, just use it. That's fine. The same things apply. You can do it on this. In fact, the pencil shows up so much better on this. It doesn't have to be the newsprint. Newsprints, easy and inexpensive, but like, look, just use what you got, okay? That's something that's important. So spend the time to warm up, 5 to 10 minutes. It's not going to kill you, and I think that you're going to find that it starts to center your mind on what you're doing, and that will make a big difference. Even if you've been painting for your whole life every day, doing these little things, putting in that extra smart work will pay dividends. The second proven way to make yourself a better artist is keep track of what you're doing. Now, this is easier than ever before, okay? I'm not sitting here suggesting that you save every piece of art you've ever made. In fact, I've done videos in the past where I've specifically said, get rid of certain pieces of art, okay? Especially if they don't bring you joy, if they upset you, if you feel like you failed at something, it's important that you kind of purge those. However, you can purge those in terms of like what's in your physical space, but documenting, okay? And all you need is one of these guys, okay? And it's so simple to do. Take whatever you've made, photograph it, and then when you have it on your computer or whatever, put the date on it. I mean, most of the time it's tagged automatically with the date on a lot of these different phones, and keep track of your progress. A great thing along with that, keeping track of your progress, and this is sort of like a little caveat to that. Have you ever seen like, well, I guess a prime example would be Bob Ross, right? He gets up there and he's got 30 minutes to do a start to finish painting, okay? And it looks really easy, right? If you think that that's his first time doing that painting, boy, oh boy, do I got a big surprise for you, okay? He has done that painting dozens of times, if not even more, okay? There are artists out there that do these like art stunts, like I think like Denny Dent is one of them. Like you can find his videos on YouTube where like he's playing like a Hendrix song and you see him walk in front of this giant brick wall and he just dips these brushes in paint and does this like really looks off the cuff mural of Hendrix. It's rehearsed, it's practiced, okay? And that's how they make it look so easy. Number 3, seek out, now here's the caveat, seek out constructive criticism from somebody of your choice, okay? A lot of times we get unsolicited advice as artists. People can see you doing art, whether you do it in public or maybe your friends or family will go into your studio and they'll feel the need to critique what you're doing and they will tell you what they think you should be doing. Especially when you're first starting out, that can be intimidating, like, oh, they must see something I don't. I remember a painting I made when I was 19 years old. I was very happy with it, and a friend of mine came in. I was painting at one of our stores in our workshop area and said, you're doing this storm scene, but you really need like a big rain cloud in there, where I had kind of made the sky a little bit more abstract, but I was still just getting new to oil painting, and I felt like even though this friend of mine didn't particularly do a lot of art, maybe he had a point. So I went ahead and I added a cloud, and I sort of regretted it ever since. That painting is still hanging in my parents' house. My mother really liked it. But every time I go and I look at that piece, I'm thinking, did I really need to put that cloud in? So think about who would be somebody that you would like to get their constructive criticism, okay? That can be a fellow artist, somebody that you respect, but regardless of who it is, regardless if, you really should pay them no mind or like, hey, that's the head of the art department at my school, it is okay to pick and choose what advice you take in for yourself. Because at the end of the day, that art that you're creating is your attitude, a reflection of you. When you're inviting that critique and criticism in, there might be something to learn. There's always something to learn, but it is completely okay, in my opinion, it is completely okay to say, all right, that's what they think. This is my thing, and I am going to pick and choose the pieces of information. Should that be a little greener? You know what? They were right about that. I'll make that a little greener. But you know what? I don't think I need to change my composition here. This is what I'm envisioning. So having the confidence to understand that when somebody's trying to honestly give you a constructive criticism, somebody that you've asked to do so, it is still okay, once you've asked that, to then pick and choose what you want. So points 4 and 5 are based on the genius writing, the incredible writing of the Karate Kid 3. That's right. That's right. We are going to take lessons from the Karate Kid Part 3. That is where the money is for these points, okay? And these come from the very popular character, Terry Silver, when he's teaching Daniel LaRusso about his karate methods. All right, Terry, tell him point number 4.
A man can't see, he can't fight.
So, your enemy can't see, he can't fight. So let's translate that to artists. The artists can't see, they can't paint, right? You need to be able to see. So where am I going with this? Obviously, we are looking at our art. I'm talking about the colors, okay? It doesn't matter if you're doing watercolor, oil, acrylic, even graphite, okay? Even just if you're doing straight up graphite, understanding what each pencil has the capability of creating in terms of shade and tone, how much pressure you put down is important. If you can see that, you will be improving your art, okay? Now we have done, if you follow our YouTube channel, a plethora of unbox and swatch videos, okay? This is not even, this is just a little bit we had on hand from recent ones, okay? We unbox, we swatch, we unbox, we swatch, unbox and swatch, unbox and swatch. We do these a lot, okay? And it's good. All right, and when I'm not on camera, whenever I have a new set, I always like to swatch my colors. Now, this is traditionally something done by watercolor painters. I also think it's a very good thing for new watercolor painters to do because it helps break the, I like to say, the preciousness of a brand new set. They might be a little intimidated to touch that new watercolor unless they have something in their mind that's like, this is what I'm going to do. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. And we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. So by doing these swatches, it's a great way to break in the paints. And I also like to, generally, depending on what I'm working on, I'll swatch on the paper that I'm using. So if I have like a watercolor journal, I'll swatch on the back page of it. That will also break the preciousness of that journal itself. But really, it doesn't matter too much as long as you are swatching the paints and seeing how they look, because watercolor in the tube or the pan, acrylic in the tube, or I guess there's no pan, in the tube looks very different when it's down and it's on paper, okay? Acrylics will dry a shade darker. Oils will shift a little bit over time, not usually as much as acrylics, but they can shift depending on the oil concentration and whatnot. And of course, watercolors will dry paler. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna tell you something a little personal here, okay? I got a little vendetta. Not a vendetta, that's the wrong word. I got a little beef with my sister. That's right. Heather, not Jerry. She even took my handle. I had an idea because we were doing all these unbox and swatch videos, and poor Jamie, my Jamie, has to take the time, or I shouldn't say has to, she so graciously volunteers the time to do all these grids, to get everything set up so everything's nice and organized. So I had an idea. I said, what if we could take the work out of this? What if we made some sort of decal that people could put over their artwork, like a what are those things that you have when you were kids, like rub-on letters, where you would take, it was like on wax paper, you would put it over your paper and you could like rub things off and the little image would stay on your paper. They still sell them. Yeah. Anyway, if you know what that is, leave it in the comments below. So yeah, I got myself all hyped up. I'm like, we can make them in kind of like, watercolor paper standard sizes, 12 by 18, 14 by 20. I mean, even 5 by 7, 8 by 10, things that are in watercolor journals. People can take their decal and put it right in the back of their book, and they can swatch right over it, and they don't have to worry about getting their ruler out and doing all this because it's tedious, right? It's tedious, and I'm lazy. That's why Jamie does it for me. So that was my brilliant idea. And then along comes my sister. And she's got to take that idea and make it actually usable. And she comes up with something that she calls the painter's color diary. And look, I come up here and I do shtick. She really did outdo it. I mean, this is a much better, more logical idea. I mean, if we're trying to swatch a lot of colors, if we really want to see what's going on, this is a much better way of doing it. So there's one for, acrylic and oils. There's one for watercolor. Just for an example, if you look at the one that we do for watercolor, first of all, both of them come with these vellum pages in between each one, so you don't have to worry about them transferring from one to the other. you can see here that not only is there a place to put down, your mask tone and then kind of bring it out a little bit with water, there's also areas to add notes. My decals would not provide that necessarily unless I figured that in. I wouldn't have thought of that. That's the genius of Heather and why she's her and I'm me. But I'm grateful for her to take this idea and run with it and make something of it, because I got to tell you, these have been very popular since they've come out. With that being said, there are some other features that are very advantageous. If you're doing oil or acrylic, we have this other one here, and it's made in the same way, only it's portrait, not landscape in its orientation. And again, you'll see that we have these vellum pages in between, and you can, right here she's just doing tinting. She's just adding white to it as she goes. There are other color studies that you can do. These are also really great because of their design. Let me show you this. So especially when you're doing oil or acrylic, but especially oil, it's like, well, yeah, it's great you got that little piece of vellum, but that oil is not going to be dry for days, if not longer. Well, these are designed to come out so you can lay them to dry and then put them right back in. And I think that is just brilliant. That is a great idea. So then you just simply push those back in to place, and you will have them back in your journal, your diary, once it is dry. And you can save these. I mean, we earlier were talking about how important it is to document your art. You're documenting your colors here too. And as you add colors, you can add to these diaries. It is a very important thing that you see the colors. Now, we're going to link down to these below. These things sell out really fast. She did a really good job. I have a feeling if my product had come to market, it would not be selling the way hers did. So if they're in stock, look at the link below. Hopefully they'll be in stock for you. They do sell out very quickly, so it's important that if you are interested in trying one of these two, you jump on that now, because sometimes when they get out of stock, it takes a while because of supply chains and blah, 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 economy to get back in stock. So if we have them in stock and you're interested, I recommend on getting onto that now. I think the main reason that hers was successful and mine wasn't was the name. She came up with this beautiful name, Painter's Color Diary, when I told her I wanted to make swatch stickers. She said that wasn't okay. So, yeah. Mr. Cherry Silver, help us get through point number 5.
A man can't breathe. He can't fight.
So, point number 5. Learn to count. The 5th thing that is proven that will help you with your art. Again, we have to go back to the Karate Kid. I told you it's points 4 and 5. Point number 5 is your enemy can't breathe. He can't fight. All right? Now we're going to change that for artists. Artists can't breathe. They can't paint. Now I'm going to change it again. If you can't find your breath, you're not going to paint your best. There's a very, very great quote that I always think about before I do anything. Doesn't always help in the moment depending on where my state of mind is, but this is a very key quote. The more relaxed you are, the better you are at anything. The more you're out of your head and you're in that zone we talked about earlier in the video, the point of the physical muscle memory of warming up and also the mental state of getting there, the more relaxed you are, the better you are at everything you do. So if you're all tense, your art is going to reflect that, okay? And you need to be aware of your body, Are you tense anywhere? Is your face relaxed? Is your face tensed up? Do you feel like you've got stiffness in your neck because you've just been like, ugh? Or maybe you've been holding that brush the wrong way or for too long. You need to be very aware of your physical self, of your body, and your state of mind. I'll tell you, so I don't know why I do it, right? But sometimes when I'm like prepping dinner, for example, like I have to, some nights we'll be making shredded chicken, and I'll go into that crock pot and I'll start shredding the chicken. And for whatever reason, I catch myself clenching my jaw while I'm doing it. Like it's like I'm like getting the chicken pulled apart. And I have to like stop, be like, why are you clenching? It's just maybe become habit or whatever it is. But I have to be aware of that because Otherwise, I start feeling like, why does this hurt to do? I'm like, oh, I'm tensing up. Okay, now that's a very bizarre, off the cuff example, but I think that there's still some point to that. Like when you're doing your art, what is your physical and mental state? Because your mental state will affect your physical state. If you're tense up here, you're going to be tense here where you're making your art. Okay, so breathe, Daniel-san.
Breathe in through nose, out the mouth. Wax on, wax off. Don't forget to breathe. Very important.
So breathe, get into the right mental state, because if you can't breathe, you can't paint. And the more relaxed you are, the better you will be at your art. I might as well leave before I get to point number 6, because I know that as soon as I say this to you guys, there's going to be 2 camps. Okay, there's going to be 2 camps of you guys when I say point number 6. Okay, the 6th proven way to improve your art. Okay, the camp that says no duh, and the camp that says no way. All right, that's just how it's going to be. That's just how it's going to be. I don't even know why I put this on here. I'm hoping that I'm wrong. I'm hoping that there's some of you that are still new or have been doing art a while, but really just needed that like extra push to say that this is important. Okay, the probably number 1, even though it's point number 6, the number 1 proven way to improve your art is learning to draw. Okay, I know I've just lost. Okay, some of you are like, no, of course you need to learn how to draw. And others are like, I do abstract painting. I do, sculpture. Why do I need to learn how to draw? Drawing is the fundamental basis of any type of art, okay? And regardless of what you're doing, it will improve your art. If anything, if you don't believe me, if anything, you know that if you will take the time to learn to draw, you will be disciplining yourself. And that alone is enough to improve your art. Okay? You should take the time to draw. I mean, I think one of the best examples of an artist that, why did, he didn't need to draw. Look at you don't need to learn how to draw to do that. Take Pablo Picasso, right? Okay, he liked to do cubism. He had his own style. It was not ultra realistic. It was very abstract, impressionistic. It had its own style. It was cubism. I don't think that you needed to be able to draw something, very well to get that style, right? One would think. But he did take the time. In fact, that was, it's one of those things that when you read about Picasso, he could paint in any style. And that's where the attitude comes in, okay? That's where that confidence comes in. He made the choice. He made the decision. Sure, I can paint this scene in photorealism. I can paint this scene impressionistically. I can paint this scene, abstractly. I like that. This is my style. This is how I'm going to paint. And because people knew that he could do it all these other ways, and whether that mattered to him or not, he had the confidence to say, this is what I choose to do. Not because it's the easiest, not because he couldn't do it another way. It is what his attitude said was, this is my art. This is what I like. This is what I think it should look like. And he had that confidence to push that message through. Regardless of his abilities to do whatever else it was, that is what he chose to do. So I will repeat, take the time to learn to draw. Whether if it's, drawing with a friend, practicing, following YouTube tutorials, getting an instructor, taking art classes, whether it's in school or, in private, whenever it works for you. Everybody's got a different way that they can learn. There's so much information out there, a lot of it for free if you do like YouTube or videos like that. And especially companies like Jerry's. I mean, we've put together thousands of free art lessons over the years. I mean, that was because we wanted to give you guys the tools, the fundamentals, and there's plenty on drawing. So keep that in mind. It will improve your art. You might not want to do it, or you might have already done it, but it will make the biggest difference. Okay? Second, I think only to the color diaries, because those are pretty cool. I really like those. But so, was this helpful to you? What are some of the ways that you think I missed that are proven ways to improve your art? Put them below. This is a community here, okay? This is a community share page. It's not just a hate page for my shtick, all right? It's about sharing with other artists. So put down below things that I missed. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? We want to know in the comments. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram at MikeNotJerry. And we would like to see you on a future Artist Problem where I keep them coming. Because I myself am a problem. So I'll never run out. She even got her name, HG, Heather Goldstein Art Concepts. I ain't got my name on I don't even put my own name on my art. So I gotta put her name on it. But I have a very good relationship with my sister, so it's fine. I come up here, Heather, if you're watching this, you know I love you. It's shtick, okay?